What sound does a penguin make? What sound does a whale make?
Yeah, that was water coming out of my blowhole.
What sound does a dolphin make?
Why are we making animal sounds right now? Oh, because we're going to the aquarium today for Kevin's birthday! Yay! Yeah, so as you've noticed, we're 5 and we're crazy.
Hey guys!
Hey guys!
Welcome to another video. So today we're talking about things you should do the second you turn 18 or thereabouts. We're going to talk about different ages a little bit, but in that range.
Yes, so this is technically specific to our younger viewers because, you know, we think it's a good idea to start your finance journey at a young age. But, you know, if you haven't taken these steps already, you know, why not do so? So this is kind of for everybody who hasn't quite done all the things they can do to help themselves financially. So, you know, stay tuned. This might be a fun video for you to watch.
Yeah, so the idea is that you're never too young to start investing in your future.
Oh yeah.
And so even when you're 18, you might think, oh, well, I don't make anything, I'm in school, I can't do anything. No, you can actually do a lot.
Yes.
Trust me, you can do a lot at 18. We're going to cover some of those things. And the cool thing about being young is that you can use the power of time to your advantage. So we'll kind of go over that in a little bit. So.
Yes. Trust me, there are a lot of things we're going to talk about that we definitely wish we did at 18.
Yeah, so all right, let's get into it.
Okay.
All right, so first thing up is this thing called the Roth IRA. What the flip is that?
I was about to say, okay.
Yeah, so what that is basically is a retirement account. So basically, if to really get into the nitty gritty, so retirement is after you've worked for many years, decades, you get to age 60.
That was 65.
Well, it depends. IRAs are 60, but it could be 60 or 65, in that range. You are now done working and you're older, so you can't work as much. Your body, you know, breaks down over time. So you want to make sure that you have enough money so that even if you don't work, you can still buy food and everything you need. So that's why you want to invest and save for retirement. So a Roth IRA really helps you do that, and this is kind of how it works. So you open up a Roth IRA, which you can open up at 18. I believe it's 18, it may even be 16, but I know it's 18 at least.
Okay.
You open one up. You can only invest up to $6,000 a year in it. So
which I don't know of many 18-year-olds that make $6,000 a year, so I think we'll be good with all that.
Yeah, so it's $500 a month basically. Max, you don't have to do that. When you're 18, I definitely wouldn't say you have to do that for sure, because you probably won't be able to. But if you can, extra credit. So you open one of those up, and then what that gets you is basically access to all indexes and stocks and things in the stock market. So what you do is you put in, let's say, $100, and then with that $100, you can buy an index fund, you can buy a stock, you can buy Tesla stock, you can buy whatever on the stock market, as long as you have enough money for it. With $100, you're only kind of limited to a few things. So how I would break it down is, number one, you open up the account. I would say if you can, every year when you're first starting, try and put maybe $300 to $500 in it, like just to get started. Because a lot of the funds are usually about that amount that I'm going to talk about. So I would say if you can, try and do $500. So open it up, put in $500. Then you take that $500 and you put it into, in my opinion, you should put it into an index fund. So an index fund basically just means that you own a piece of a lot of businesses. So you can own one whole Tesla stock, for example, or you can own a little tiny piece of Tesla and a bunch of
eBay, Walmart.
Yeah. So I personally use Vanguard for that, and we can kind of go over some of the companies in a second. But so you would open up your Vanguard account, you would put in the $500, and then I would say you put that $500 in an index fund. So it's either VTI, VOO, any of those. The difference between those two is that you have an S&P 500 index, which means it's just the top 500 companies in the country. That's it. It's not even more complicated than that. And then you have the general index, which is every stock in the stock market. So those are the two things that I would invest in. And then if you do that every year, and then as you get older, you can invest more, obviously, because your income will go up. And then eventually, if you can max that out, and say you do that for 40 years, you're guaranteed to retire a millionaire. That's all you have to do. You open up $500 at first, then you build up to $6,000, and if you can build up to $6,000, let's say it takes you until 25 to get there, then you've already had the $500, so that almost adds up to a year by then. So then you have another 40 years after that, at that point, so you'd be about 65, maybe even 64, or maybe even younger. And then at that time, that $240,000 roughly that you invested into the stock market is now worth, depending on how the market does, around $1 million or even more. It could grow to $2 million if the market does really well. It could be a little less if the market doesn't do so well. But no matter what, it's going to be around $1 million. So that's how you're guaranteed to retire a millionaire, or at least be a millionaire at some point in your life. It's the easiest way to do it.
I think piggybacking off of that, I feel like it's important for young people just to like have a general knowledge of the stock market in general, because I know a lot of people that make, even if it's a little bit of money off the stock market, but when you're really knowledgeable about something or about it, you could really make it work for you. So even if you don't do the $500 thing, maybe do like $100 and put it in the stock market, and I think it could do wonders. So maybe just take a small stock market course, or just make an effort to learn a little bit about it, because it can actually be really helpful.
Yeah, and if you use these index funds, let's say you put it in just a general broad index, let's say you put it in the S&P 500, so the top 500 companies, then you're beating 92% of investors that day trade, and that's their careers, they trade every day. You're beating 92% of those people. That's all you have to do. Open an account, put in money, put it in an index, do it for 40 years, you're a millionaire. That's literally the equation from beginning to end.
Isn't that ridiculously simple? Then why don't we all do it? I don't know.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely get into that and do it, and you'll kind of learn as you go.
Yeah.
But definitely get started in that. That's the number one thing I would start with.
Number 2 is whether I sort of have a different opinion on this than like other people do, but definitely opening a savings account, because it is never too early to save for your wedding, college tuition fund, whether it's yours or your children's, for any accidents that may occur, if you're wanting to buy a home, like any sort of stuff like that, or in a case of emergency. Like, it is never too early to open a savings account. So what I normally do is I usually use my savings account, and I have 2 of them, but right now we're just gonna say you open one, put $25 a month. If you put $25 in a month, that's money that you're already putting aside. It's not a huge amount, so it's not like, oh my God, like I'm putting $300 aside that I really need right now. Like, $25 is pretty simple. That's like maybe a grocery bill, maybe not even. And just do that once a month, and you'll see it slowly picking up, and you'll, by the time you really need it, hopefully we'll have a decent amount of money in there. Like, I've only been doing that for about maybe close to 2 years now, and I already have a decent amount of money in there, just again doing $25 a month. So it's a nice little way to build where it doesn't feel like you're doing too much, but you're still making an impact on any future financial things. Some other things that I've heard people say is every time you get a paycheck. So like, say if you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, do $25 each time you get a paycheck, and then put it in your account. Of course, that will get you there maybe a little bit faster if you have a specific goal in mind. But the main point is, if you open a savings account, again, that could give you a little bit more of a cushion whenever you do have any emergency go on, or anything that takes out a chunk of your finances, that it's money that you don't have to worry about coming out of your actual like checking account, and it won't be so much of a blow on you when that does happen. So open a checking account, even if it's just one. You can do it when you're 18. You might even be able to do it a little bit earlier than that, but trust me, it's definitely worth it.
Yep, absolutely. Gotta have something saved. So
Yes.
cool. All right, so the last one we wanted to talk about was credit cards. Now,
Yes.
this is kind of a controversial subject, so I'm going to give you some caveats on this point. So I would say, as soon as you turn 18, get a secured, very low limit credit card that you pay off every month.
Yes, like maybe no more than like 500, 1,000.
Yes, very low limit, so 500,000, something like that.
Yeah.
So that you don't go too crazy with it, because you won't really know what kind of, or you might know by then, but you'll really know what kind of spender you are at that point. when you have a credit card and you can pretty much get what you want on credit, and you don't necessarily have to have the money at that moment, then you'll see if you're a spender or a saver. In general. People kind of tend to be one or the other. So just to protect yourself from yourself, get a very low limit secured credit card.
Yes.
The reason why you want to do that is because you want to start building up your credit. And it's extremely important because you will get a lot better. You'll save yourself thousands and thousands of dollars on loans and be able to get things easier from the bank. So things like that. And you'll be able to get credit cards in the future easier.
Yes.
So you really want to start building up your credit, and all you have to do is just open up a card and just pay it off.
Yeah.
If
And another thing is, you know, I know some parents out there are usually like, do not get any credit cards, they are bad. No, it is literally impossible for you to build your credit any other way than getting a credit card. Like, it is the best way to do it. It's probably the only way to do it. And especially for my teenagers who can't wait to move out of mom and dad's, yeah, you can't, or maybe you can, who knows, but very unlikely, you can't move out of your parents' house into an apartment unless you have a good credit score. So if you want to, you know, put a buzz on that, or, you know, just have your own place, you're going to want to make sure you have something building up your credit, and a credit card is the way to go. But just one. You don't need any more than that, just the one.
Yeah, the key is you never want to buy anything on a credit card that you would otherwise get. So don't like splurge and things like that. But you can get it, like you can do things without a credit card. It's just a lot harder.
Yes.
We're just trying to make your life a little easier.
Exactly.
So get the card and pay it off every month, and later on as you go, you can learn some of the other credit card tips and things that we talk about in this channel. Credit card bonuses and things which you can really maximize to get a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
But when you first start out, when you're 18, I would say do not trust yourself. Give yourself limits so that you can't go crazy. And especially like when you're young, that's when you can take on a lot of student loans and things like that. You want to keep that to a minimum, and definitely want to keep your credit card debt to a minimum, because you're probably already going to have a lot of debt, so we don't want to add anything onto it.
No, we do not.
So yes, so credit card, very low limit, secure, even a student credit card, and pay it off every month. So yeah, that's topic number 3. So yeah, those are a few tips. There's also plenty of other things we can talk about, things like student loans and other things, but the key when you're young is you want to try and get through those young years with the least amount of debt as possible.
Yes.
You can incur a lot of debt at that age, but you don't necessarily have the income to match it and to overcome it. So you really want to keep your debts low at that age.
Yeah, I say especially for my fellow college graduates out there, especially, you know, those who want to go to university like I did, yeah. Let's just say my loans aren't killing me right now, but I really, really wish I would have gone about paying them a different way. For example, I would definitely say, like, if you're one of those people that you work while you're going to school, even if it's just like a small part-time job that doesn't pay a ton, I would say at least once a month, if not every couple months, try to pay it off little by little, like even if you throw $100 at it like every month or every couple months or whatever, because believe me, it is going to pay off in the end. Because while you're in school and up to 6 months after you graduate with whatever degree you're getting, you get no interest on your loans. And believe me, that is a lifesaver, because once you start accumulating interest, it's very hard to pay off the principal balance, because interest will always come back. But once you pay off the principal, it starts going away. But if you have a lot of interest, that you can't really get to the principal. So do yourself a favor, and again, either while you're in school or whenever you're working or within the 6-month period when you graduate and when you have to start actually paying your loans, pay whatever you can, because it'll only help you in the future. I really, really, really wish I did that. Believe me. But it'll, again, good idea, very good idea.
Yeah,
Don't not do it.
It's a little bonus tip for you. Yeah. So those are just some of the things we have. We'll break down those and other things as we go on our channel. And if you like any of our previous videos, be sure to check those out too.
Yes.
And as always, be sure to like and subscribe the video. Hit the notification bell so you're always sure when we're posting anything.
Yes, because we have crazy schedules sometimes, so you're gonna want to hit that bell.
So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
What sound does a monkey make?
Or should I do that?
What sound does a piggy make? What sound does a cow make?
I could be a voice actor for like an animal showers. do all the animals.
What sound does a Scooby-Doo make?
You know I can't do Scooby. I suck at doing Scooby. Why would you do this to me?
Like Scoob! We gotta get out of here.
See, he does Shaggy so well, and I suck at Scooby. It makes me so sad.